My name is Catherine, and I'm one of the health educators here with the Forever in Motion team with the Saskatchewan Health Authority. And today we are going to be going through a mobility stretching class. It'll be about 25 to 30-ish minutes. So on those days that you are thinking you'd like a little bit lower intensity, or that you need to add in some flexibility or stretching into your routine, this will be a good session to come back to so you can add that in to your balance of physical activity. So today we will need a nice sturdy chair. Our stretches and mobility will be done in standing and seated. So always take what you need, modify as you need, and we'll get going. Always listening to your body. So in seated or in standing, your choice, we're going to first start off with our beautiful tall posture. So sitting up nice and tall, we're tucking our chin into our chest. Our shoulders are down and back. Our chest is proud and lifted. Our abdominals are engaged, so slightly activating our core. Always breathing. You could draw that belly button in or activate. I like to imagine I'm coughing, and as I cough, I feel that activation through my trunk, and those tummy muscles turn on. So I'm turning those tummy muscles on throughout our workout and any other workouts that you may be doing. And then we want a nice neutral spine. So when we're seated in the chair, we just want a nice neutral spine, sitting up tall. We don't want any excessive rounding in any other way. When we're doing this in standing, that looks like a little bum tuck under. Like, very good. So we're standing up nice and tall or sitting, your choice. Chin is tucked, shoulders are set, down and back, tummy is strong, and a slight tailbone tuck. So those are our A, B, C's. A for abdominals, B for bum tuck, C for chin and chest. Very good. So just starting off with some gentle range of motion. So we're sitting up tall, chin is tucked, dropping one ear to the shoulder. Because this is a warm-up, we're holding our mobility or our movements a little bit shorter than we would in a static stretch. Now with anything we're doing, you're always in control, taking breaks when you need to. For example, this one might cause some dizziness. So just being mindful of how this makes you feel, and doing it seated in a chair can help reduce any wobbliness that we may feel. So always listening to your body. Good. Let's bring our neck back to neutral, doing some shoulder range of motions. So we're just bringing those shoulders up towards our ears, bringing them down like I'm pinching my shoulder blades, or trying to tuck my elbows behind my back and down. Good. Always breathing. Great. Good. Now working from the top down, you'll find that is the trend that we will do. We're going to come into our genie pose like this, or your hands together, prayer pose, and we're going to rotate to one side. So again, sitting up tall, finding our A, B, C's, and rotating. And then back to the middle. And the reason why I like to do this one seated is you get to really anchor your hips down. So then it's your trunk muscles that are actually rotating. And by keeping my hands solid and together, I'm preventing any of that rotation of my arms going, but my body is not. keeping the shoulders down, always thinking about nice, long necks. Good, and smiles are always welcome. We'll do 3 on each side today. Good. And back to middle. Very good. Adding in a little bit more range through our trunk, we'll bring our hands up at shoulder height. Sitting up tall, chin tucked, shoulders down and back. We're going to rotate, opening up to whichever side. So my hand is forward in front of me. I'm rotating, reaching my hand back towards my body, back towards the back wall, and then hand coming back to the front. So again, this is working our rotation, sitting tall, opening up that hand towards the back of the room, moving within your range of motion. Gaze is following that back hand. And then bring your gaze forward with that hand. One more time, opening up, shoulders are down, tummy is strong, sitting tall, looking towards that back hand, as far that feels comfortable for you. And we're always moving slow and controlled and breathing. One more time. Very good, shaking that out. So coming into some spine mobility, I'm going to open my legs up a little bit wider, and always I'm at the front edge of my seat, so I'm never at the back of my chair. So always make sure that, unless I tell you, we'll be forward in our seat. So doing some cat and cow in seated, and I'll also demonstrate this in standing as well. So first off, sitting up nice and tall with my beautiful posture, chin, chest, core, neutral spine, and then I'm going to tuck my chin into my chest, and I'm rounding my back gently. Rounding my back gently, and then I'm going to lift my chin, and I'm going to drop my belly between my legs, so I have a little bit of an arch in my back. And then moving through this movement, cat and cow, through your own pace. And if you wanted to try that in standing, I like to stand on the back of my chair for that, pushing my legs back, sinking my bum back, and same thing, tucking my chin under, rounding my back gently, and then lifting my head and dropping my belly. So this is a nice little mobility movement to get the spine moving. Those vertebrae sometimes get a little stiff. You might find a little bit of popping, or like you might hear a popping sound, and as long as that's not painful, that's okay. And if you have osteoporosis, always being mindful of your spine, gently moving, as well as if you have any other conditions, always listening to your body and listen to what any healthcare provider has told you and listen to them. Good. Done there. Shake it out. Good work. So while we're in standing, let's do a little bit of some hip openers or some hip work. So again, you can do this in seated if you would like. It just might look a little different, but we're going to be standing nice and tall. Always, if you're at home, try to do this behind your chair so you have something to hold on to. But because I want you to see me, I'm coming out to the side. So I like a nice wide base. My hands are just on my hips for support, and I like to do a hip circle. This is one of my favorite movements that I do in a warm-up, loosening up and getting that pelvis moving. Going in one direction and then switching into the other. The nice part about these hip circles is you can control this so it's more suited to you. So let's say one hip is a little bit more sore, If you want to give it a little bit more attention, moving it through that half circle, if that feels better for you. I just heard my hip pop or make a crack noise. So if you do feel that, as long as it's not painful and you're listening to your body, that's okay. Now, let's pause at the top. If you want to adjust your hips to be a little bit wider or more narrow, feel free to do so. See how that feels when you're doing this next round of hip circles. But we're going to do a figure 8. So again, standing proud, A, B, C's, and we're going to come into a figure 8 with our hips. So just making that number 8, making 2 circles, and then crossing in the midline, or that infinity sign. And then we'll pause and we'll go in the opposite direction. There's always one side that's a little bit easier than the other. And then I feel when you're doing this in seated, you're doing more of almost like a hula type movement. So just working your hips through the range of motion. It's a little bit more tricky, but the more you practice, the easier it is. And it's just about bringing that awareness from our head to that body part to work. Very good. All right, I'm going to come back into standing. I'm also going to have a water for a sip. So if you need to have water at any time, you have my permission to do so. Good. So we're going to open up our hips a little bit more. Again, this can be done in seated. What it might look like in seated is at the front of your seat, sitting tall, bringing that knee, opening it out to the side, and then bringing it back in, and then the other side as well. So when you're more seated forward in your seat, I have arms on my chair, so that limits my range of motion. But if you don't have arms on your chair, then you might be able to open those hips a little bit more. But in standing, I'm going to have my chair for balance. I'm going to stand up on one foot. I have a soft knee and a soft hip. So I'm never locking out my joints because that is not good for our body. It might increase injury, and no one wants an injury. So a soft foot, soft ankle, soft knee, soft hip. I'm stacked over top of this leg. I'm going to bring out my outside leg. I'm going to pop up onto my toe. I call this my kickstand. And the lower option, keep your toe on the ground. My knee is slightly bent. I'm going to open it out to the side and then bring it back in. So my hips are trying to stay forward. I'm standing proud. My chin is tucked. Chest is open. There's a lot to think about. But when we think about all these little things, it does help for us to get more out of this workout. Good. Now a higher option. We can bring this knee up, externally rotate it out, drop that toe down, pick it up, bring it back in and down. So a couple different options, just working on that range of motion with the hip. And you choose which one works best for you. One more time, and then we will switch sides. Very good. I'm just going to use my little table over here. So again, finding my soft ankle, knee, and hip, bringing my toe up onto my kickstand, finding my beautiful posture, lifting that knee, opening it up, and lowering down, or choosing the lower option of your toe on the ground, or the chair option as well. I remember doing this movement back in my teen years, and we would call it a fire hydrant or a bad dog. So depending on what works for you, this hip opener, call it what you'd like. Good. When it comes to range of motion type movements, again, listen to your body. What does your body need? And we don't need to do them for many repetitions. So let's do one more. And bring it back to neutral. Good. And then I always like to give a little shake out those hips to make them feel a little bit better after we've worked them a little bit more. Good. Let's have a seat in our chair and doing some range of motion work with our legs. So I'm sitting up nice and tall at the front edge of my seat, chin, chest, core, neutral spine, and I'm going to start by lifting one leg forward and doing some ankle rotations. So doing one leg, and if you'd like to add in your wrists as well. Good. Opposite direction. Then after we've gone through all of our body parts doing the range of motion, let's switch legs with that foot, straightening it. This time let's do open and closing with our hands. And after we've gone through all of our range of motion, switch directions, we'll do some more stretching. So again, today's class is all about restorative healing, some flexibility, some mobility. Good, one more time. And relax. Good work. So coming into the stretching part of our class, we're gonna sit up nice and tall, tucking that chin into our chest. I like to say we're making some double chins. So sitting up tall, tucking that chin in, big breath in. Now let's drop one ear to our shoulder. So keeping your gaze forward, chin is tucked, dropping your ear to your shoulder, and I'm feeling a stretch on the other side of my neck. Good, gaze is always forward. And then we'll bring our head back up to neutral, doing the other side. So again, sitting tall, chin tuck, dropping that ear to your shoulder, feeling that stretch along the lateral or the side part of your neck. Shoulders are down. And if you'd like to increase your neck stretch for a little bit more, you can grab hold to the chair or underneath your leg, however it feels comfortable to you. And that just helps to anchor your shoulder down so it does not pop up. Then you're not getting that stretch in your neck. Bring yourself back up to neutral. And again, if you're feeling dizzy or lightheaded, pause here before continuing on. Very good. We'll sit up nice and tall. We'll bring one arm across our chest. And with my other arm, I like to grab hold on my tricep. My shoulder is down. So bringing that arm across, shoulders down, and I'm going to take my hand and I'm just guiding it to reach a little bit further towards my water bottle. My shoulders are down. I'm not hiking again. Good. So I'm stretching the back side of my back. I'm stretching my back, my upper back, middle back. Good. And we'll switch sides. So again, bringing that hand across my body, grabbing hold of my tricep, the under part of my arm, and I'm just reaching towards my couch here. Stretching or increasing that stretch across my upper back. Ideally, when we are stretching, we're stretching for about 20 to 30 seconds. So working towards that time in this stretch-focused class. I know when you're doing your own exercise classes in your community or at home, sometimes we don't get all of our stretches or all of the body parts that we have. Release there. Open up that chest, coming into our chest or pectoral stretch. Shoulders are down, sitting tall, chin is tucked. Opening those arms up nice and wide into a nice big W. Again, you can switch this one up to best suit you. Elbows bent, arms straight, reaching a little bit further. You choose what works for you as long as you're breathing and you're feeling that gentle pull. So like I was saying, sometimes in classes we don't have enough time to do all the body parts or to hold them for the recommended time. So today we are trying to hold them for a little bit longer. And if they're too long for you at any time, feel free to hold them for what works for you. So if that's 10 seconds today, then that's 10 seconds today. Maybe next time you come back, it might be 15 seconds. Good. Let's take our palms, push them down, thumbs coming down. So we're opening up our chest again, but you might feel the stretch go down your arms, through your bicep, and maybe into your forearms a little bit too. Big breath in. Keeping those shoulders down, chest proud. Beautiful. Slowly relax. Very good. Stretching out our side body next. We're going to sit up nice and tall, reaching our hand overhead. And then if you want, you can think about just reaching a little bit higher, feeling the stretch in our side body. Some people I've seen try guiding their arm a little bit more. But again, always being mindful of you and your body. Good. And if reaching above the arm isn't working for us, let's bring it down, switching sides. So sitting up nice and tall. Again, if this isn't working for us, maybe you want to reach a little bit forward or across in front of your head. Your arm doesn't have to go up high if your shoulder range does not allow it, but you can always try lengthening your body and feeling that side body stretch. Good. Coming back to our tricep muscles, this under part of our arm here, we're going to take our arm, reach it to the base of our neck. Option 1, trying to do this pose first. I know it can be tough, so even if you need to put your hand on the back of your shoulder, that's also an option. We're trying to get this elbow straight up into the sky. So our elbow straight up to the sky, feeling a stretch here in our tricep. And if your range of motion allows it, taking this other hand and gently applying pressure downwards so that hand can walk a little bit further down your spine. I've also seen people do this as well, so this is an option too. Let's relax. Switching sides, reaching that arm up, bending that elbow. Again, trying to get that hand to the base of your neck, and then taking that hand and just trying to shoot that elbow up towards the sky, or gently applying pressure so that hand is walking further down your back. Big breath. Keep going. This stretch is acceptable too. Again, we want to work within your range of motion and what works for you. Or if it's not working well for you today, you can always take a break and come back to it next time you want a flexibility stretch. Good. Drop that elbow down, shaking that out. If you need to round your back at all because your posture muscles have been working hard to sit up tall, feel free to move your body in a way that feels good for you. All right, moving down to our lower body next. I'm going to sit back a little bit. I'm going to walk forward in my chair, and I'm going to start with a hamstring stretch. One of my favorite stretches to do. So you can see my legs. I'm placing my front leg on the ground, my heels on the ground, and my heel is on the ground. I'm sitting up nice and tall at the front edge of my seat, doing my ABCs, abdominals, neutral spine with my bum, chin and chest. I'm going to hinge at my hips, keeping this straight spine, hinging forward, and my hands go on top of this bent knee. I have a soft bend in my knee, never locking out my joints, And I'm feeling my stretch in my hamstring. So you can come a little bit more forward, hinging, big breath in, and hinging as you exhale. Maybe you're leaning a little bit more forward. Now with this, look at my foot. If you want to change this stretch to best suit you, you can. Focus more on your hamstring by taking your toe and pointing it forward. Maybe you can hinge a little bit more. Again, no rounding in our back. We want nice straight spine or neutral spine. If you want to focus more on your calf, bring that toe a little bit higher, and that increases the stretch in my lower leg, in my calf. So just some things that you can play around with, because workouts are meant for you and your body, and you can tweak it and modify as it works for you. Switch sides if you have not already. Again, sitting up tall, hinging at the hips, and I'm supporting my upper body with my hands. To me, I'm just having more of a neutral stretch. I feel it in my hamstring and my calf with my toe like this, but you choose what works for you. Big breath. Good. Bringing your knees together and feet together. Let's stretch out our our quadriceps and our hip flexors too. So with this movement, I have arms on my chair, so this makes it a little bit more challenging for me, but we'll try our best, and then I will also show you a standing option too. So I'm rotating my body, so my one bum cheek is on the chair, and my other bum cheek is hanging off the chair. I'm definitely holding on to the back of the chair, just so I feel safe, and I'm reaching my leg backwards as far that feels comfortable for me. So I'm reaching my toe backwards, I'm sitting up nice and proud, and then what I like to do is tuck my hips underneath. So if you see, I go from reaching far, then I'm bringing my knee closer to being under my body. So I'm sitting up tall, I'm feeling a stretch right here in my hip flexor, maybe a little bit into my quadricep, and I'm always breathing. Good. Hip flexors and hamstrings and our chest are some of the more tighter body parts that we have, or tighter, less flexible muscle groups. So that's why in our Forever in Motion classes, we really try to focus on that chest, hip flexor, and hamstring. Let's bring those knees back together and switch sides. So this time I'll change my angle. So one bum cheek is on the chair, the other is hanging off, reaching my toes backwards, sitting up nice and proud. My gaze is forward, and I take my hip and my knee and I tuck it underneath, so I'm more stacked, and I feel that stretch in my hip flexor, which if I had my hand in my front pocket, that is where my hip flexor would be, and then my quadricep is a little bit further down. Good. Options, stay here and seated if that's working for you, or we can do a standing option. So how that one looks is I'm standing by my chair, I take a step back, I'm finding my beautiful stacked posture, and then I take this back leg again and I bring it forward. So same type of movement, I'm bringing my hips, they're square, and I'm tucking my tailbone under, maybe a little bit more, or bringing that knee so it's stacked more underneath my shoulder and hip, then out back further. So just by doing that little motion helps open up my pelvis, which will help to my flexibility and mobility, especially if you're someone that's feeling a little stiff in the morning. Maybe it's a good one to do. All right, one more for our calves, and then we'll be done. So this one can also be done in the chair. I like this one in standing, especially when I have a chair nearby. I'm going to take the ball of my foot, placing it on the back of the chair. All right, I'm standing up tall. I'm not standing with my bum back, so ideally standing tall. And then to intensify this stretch, I lean closer to the chair, maintaining that nice straight spine, not bending over. So if you're doing a lot of walking in the day, or you know your legs are going to be tired, this is a great stretch to do after that long walk or before you go to bed. Let's take that out, switch sides. Let's do the other side, placing that ball of the foot on the chair. And then to intensify that stretch or increase it, I bring my hips closer, or I bring my whole body closer. You can also do this on the wall. I don't know about you, but sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night with a calf cramp. So I know if I was to do this stretch before I go to bed, it would definitely help with that, as well as drinking lots of water. Good. Big breath in. I know drinking more water can sometimes cause us to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and have more trips, but you choose your poison. Pick your poison if you rather wake up because of a calf cramp or because of the bathroom. You choose, but drinking water is something always good to do. So that is it for our full body mobility stretching class today. I like to end my classes with 3 big deep breaths and then a round of applause because you all did wonderful joining me here today. So let's take a nice big breath in, arms down, reaching tall. Good, big breath in again. Last time. And a round of applause. Again, my name is Catherine, and I'm here with the Forever in Motion team with SHA. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And if you're looking for anything in particular, also let us know so we can help you do what you want and help you reach your goals. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.